So in the last class, we are looking into the request for quotation and we have selected the supplier, right? So that is basically called this quotation process is basically called as a supplier selection process. Okay. So if you are going to send a request for quotation, then you are maintaining the quotation, then based on the quotation you are selecting one supplier, right? So this process is basically called supplier selection process. Now once you are selecting the supplier, then you can create a purchase order, you can send a purchase order to the selected supplier or vendor. Okay, so now how we can send the purchase order, or what is the configuration are required to send the or to create a purchase order. Okay, so now we'll go to SPRO. So here we will be going to material management, purchasing. From the purchasing, we'll go to purchase order. So here you can see purchase order. So from the purchase order, first settings you can see define number ranges. Okay. So number ranges here also you can say this is the same thing. You have to maintain a number range. So we are not going to select any number ranges. We will be creating the we will be using the existing number range one. Okay, so basically this is the standard 45 number range is a standard interval for the purchase order. Okay, this is the standard, so we can take this as a standard. Okay, 45 number range, we can take this one. We'll go back. Now next one is define document type. Okay, so before going to define document type, you have to go to define screen layout at the document level. So here you can go. So basically here you can see. So this NBF is basically this is the standard purchase order document type field selection key. Okay, so if you go to the purchase order document type, there you can see the field selection key will be NBF. Okay, so if you want to create a new document type, or if you want to create some new field selection, you can also create some new field selection over here, like copy from this one and create a new field selection key. There you have to maintain what are the required fields or optional fields or anything are there, so you can maintain. So just select this one, go to details. So here you can go to basic data. So let's say here everything is optional, you can see. Okay, so let's say if you go to let's say, so deadline monitoring also you can see delivery date, statistical delivery date, order acknowledgement. So these kind of things are there. If you want to make something as a required entry or something as a display entry, so you can check it over here. Okay, now let's go back. So field selection you can do it based on your requirement. Okay, now let's go back. Now next one is your define document type. Okay, so in the document type here also you can see the NB is the standard purchase order. If you want to create a new purchase order document type, you can create a new purchase order document type by copying this one. Okay, try to copy this one and create a new document type. So here you can see item interval is 10. Okay, this is a standard number range interval. For your internal number range is 45 and external number range 41. Okay, so you can either enter the number ranges manually, you can enter it, or you can means system will automatically take as per the 45 number range. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, so here you can see field selection key. Here you can see field selection key is NBF. Okay, NBF is there. So if you want to create a new field selection key, you can create it there and you can assign it over here. Okay, so this is basically the requirement. Now let's say you want to create a new document type. Okay, so let's say let's say we will be creating, so ZNB is already there. Okay, so someone has created this ZNB, so we will be using this ZNB one. Okay, let's use this ZNB one, or you can create a new document type also. Okay, now select this one and click on allowed item categories. Click on allowed item categories. So here you can see these are the allowed item categories are there. Okay, if you want to remove something also, you can remove it from here. Let's say remove it from here. Okay, if you want to remove it, you can also remove it. If you want to allow it, if you want to add some of the item categories also, you can add from here. Okay, now let's select the standard, then click on link purchase requisition. Now here also you need to see if the ZNB type purchase requisition is there or not. So here you can see ZNB type purchase requisition is there. So now we will be able to create for our purchase requisition, we'll be able to create the purchase orders. Okay, this is the basic requirement. Able to understand till this? Able to understand till this one?
Yes.
So these are the configuration you need to, yeah. So these are the configuration you need to do while you are going for a implementation project. While you are going for an implementation, you need to do these kind of settings. Okay, so these are the minimum things. So there are a way more work will be there. What will be the work, so we will be discussing in some time, but these are the basically these are the customization or configuration you need to do while you are configuring a purchase order. Let's say for your interview, if someone is asking you, let's say you maintained in your um, resume that I have configured the purchase order or I have configured the P2P cycle. So let's say they are asking what kind of configurations you have done or how you have configured the purchase order. So you can say I have configured the number ranges for the document. I have configured the number ranges. I have configured the field selection for the purchase order. I have configured the document type. Then there will be some let's say tolerance limits will be there, so that will be the configuration for purchase order. So after you configure these things, then you will be able to create a purchase order. So after that, let's say they are saying like in the document type what you have configured. So you can mention like in the document type I have maintained the allowed item categories there we have maintained, and we have linked the purchase requisition over there. So these kind of things you can mention in your interview. Okay, so this is your interview prospective question and answers. Okay, now next one is set tolerance limit for price variance. So yesterday we are looking into that. Okay, so there was an error for this price variance, so we are looking into it, right? So now just click on this one. Now here there is a tolerance limit of P, price variance for purchasing. Okay, so price variance you have to check for your company code ITCT, right? So yesterday only we have created. Someone deleted. Yeah, ITCP, not city. So ITCP we have created yesterday. So same thing here, you can see if it is not there, you can copy it from some company code or just create a new entry and add these things, whatever things we have added. Tolerance key, company code, and here in the lower limit and upper limit. Okay, so absolute, the make it do not check. Okay, and in the percentage basis do check the limit and set some of the limit. So what is this tolerance key and where it is required? Okay, and what is the difference between this absolute limit and percentage limit? Let's say in the material master you are having a price of 10 rupees. Okay, let's say in the purchase order someone is entering, let's say manually some user is entering 15 rupees or 20 rupees they are entering. Okay, so what will happen in that case? if you are not selecting, if you are not maintaining a tolerance key, so what will happen? System will normally, the standard behavior is system will not allow you to create a purchase order. Okay, but if you have set this tolerance limit, so as yesterday it was asking, please set a tolerance limit, right? So if you have set a tolerance limit, then if it is under tolerance limit, let's say 20%, 30% you are maintaining over here. Okay, let's say lower limit is 10%, upper limit is 10%. Upper limit means, let's say material price is 10 rupees, or let's say 100 rupees, so you will be able to create the purchase order for 90 rupees, means price you can take maximum lower to 90 rupees, maximum upper to 110 rupees. If your material price in the purchase order is maintained above than that or less than that, so system will give you error message that the material price or it is not under the variance limit. Okay, system will give you the errors. Okay, understood this tolerance limit? So it is basically a check for if anyone is creating a purchase order higher than the material price or lower than the material price, it will give you an warning or error message based on your system configuration. Okay, able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. So now let's come to this absolute limit and percentage limit. Now, if you are selecting on the absolute limit, so here you are maintaining check limit, and here you are maintaining, let's say, sum of the value, let's say 10 rupee, 10 or 20 you are maintaining. Okay. So based on this, it will check the absolute price, compare the absolute price with the, let's say, with the material price. Okay, and it will give you an error or warning. Okay, but most of the cases what will happen, let's say, at your plant or at your company code, there are some materials that are priced at 10 rupees, some materials that are priced at 100 rupees. So if you are adding a absolute value, let's say if you are mentioning maintaining that, let's say 5 rupees extra or 10 rupees extra should not be, means limit will be 5 rupees. So let's say it will be 5 for your 10, for your 10 rupees material also it will be 5 rupees, for your 100 rupees material also it will be 5 rupees. So the percentage wise it will be not right, right? So for that reason, don't have to select this absolute thing. Okay, you have to select the percentage thing. Okay, if you are selecting on a percentage basis, so every material, let's say if it's 100 rupees, then it will go for 10%. If it is 10 rupees, then it will again go for 10%, that is 1 rupees. So for 100 it is 10, for 10 it is 1 rupees. So likewise it will check some percentage. So here you can see this is the, so that's why we check it with the basis of percentage only. Okay, so that for every material it will be like on a standard which is it will be there. So based on the percentage it will calculate. Able to understand?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go back. So now next one is your text for purchase order. Okay, so if you want to define some of the text, let's say there will be header text will be there, there will be copying rules will be there will be text type for item text will be there, and there will be some copying rules will be there. So now if you want to maintain some of the header text, just execute. So here you can see this is the sequence number 01 header text, header note. So in this sequence, in your purchase order, the text will be coming. Okay, in the header section. This is the header text. Inside the header, this will come. If you want to add some of the text over here, let's say if you want to add something, so you can add a new sequence number, let's say 17, and you can add something. Okay, let's say shipping instructions or anything, you can add it over here. Now, next one is your define copying rules for header text. Now these header text will be copied from where? Okay, let's say if we say about the deadlines. Okay, if we go to the test linkages, so here you can see deadline will be copied from the request for quotation or from the contract. Okay, if you fix this one, let's say if you are going to fix this one, text automatically adopted in the target object. Okay, if you have maintained something in the RFQ, so directly it will be adopted. Okay, directly it will be copied. star user can have text adopted in the target system. So you can go to the purchase order, so there you can just assign the text, whatever text will be there, you can assign it. So next one is n, means text cannot be adopted in the target system. So these are the three types of, so these are the three types of, sorry. So these are the types of text copy rules are there. So if you are making something as fixed from purchase, from quotation or from contract, you can copy some of the deadlines or any other things are there. Let's say header text also. You can click on this and you can see from the RFQ quotation, it can copy. Okay. So from where you want to copy, you can maintain it. And normally you should have maintained some of the text in the source system. Like if you are maintaining it for quotation, so or request for quotation, you must have maintained something in the request for quotation so that it will be copied to there. Okay. So now this is for the header text. So same for the item text. Okay. You can go to item text. You can check this item text, info record purchase order text, material purchase order text. So you can select this one and okay. Not here. If you want to create a new text type, you can also add somewhere here. Okay, let's say shipping instructions, let's say any kind of instruction you want to give to the vendor, so you can maintain these kind of things. Okay, now next one is same the copying rules. So where it is going to be copied. So let's say PO material text, go to test linkages. So where it can copy. So source object here, this is the source object. Let's say purchase order, purchase requisition or material master. Let's say in the material master you have maintained some of the text, so that you can copy to the purchase order. Okay, able to understand? Able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the this is the configuration for the purchase order. Okay, so if anyone is asking you about the purchase order, so you can tell these things. Okay, so now we will go to the purchase order creation and we will see what kind of things are there in the purchase order while creating. Okay, we'll go through path only. So here you can go to logistics, material management, purchasing, purchase order. Here you can go to the create ME21N if the supplier or vendor plant is known. ME58 requisition assignment list. Automatically you can create it. Okay, sometime you can create it automatically. So these are the, so basically this MA58 is basically means from the requisition list. If there is a requisition list is there, purchase requisition list is there, from that you can create MA59N, you'll be able to convert it. Okay, so now we'll be going to ME21N. Okay, so now here you can see this is the ZNB has been selected. Okay, now this purchase order we can create based on the, let's say if you want to create it based on purchase requisition, request for quotation, contract or scheduling agreement. Based on these documents you'll be able to create. So how you can create based on that? So just scroll to right. So here you can see purchase requisition. Here you can add the purchase requisition number, requisition item number. If there is a outline agreement, let's say contract or scheduling agreement is there, so you can maintain that agreement number. Contract item number, what will be the item number? If it is a RFQ, put the RFQ number. What is the RFQ item number? You can put, or you can create it with respect to purchase order also. Let's say there is a old purchase order is there, so you want to create a same purchase order, so you can put the same purchasing document number over here, item number over here, and you can just hit enter. It will take all of the details. Now let's say we will be creating based on the purchase requisition. So what was the purchase requisition? 10025, right? And requisition item number, let's say 10. Just hit enter. Now you can see, it is taking the material number. This is the text will be taken automatically. So material number, here you can see the quantity, delivery date, net price, and here you can see the material group, plant, storage location, everything is taking automatically. Now if you go to the header section also, in the organizational data, it is taking the purchasing organization, purchasing group, and a company code by default. Okay, so where it is getting the data? It is getting the data from the purchase requisition. Okay, so basically based on this plant, it is taking the company code, because company code we have not entered in the purchase requisition, right? So purchase organization and the company code we have not entered in the request, a purchase. In the purchase requisition we have not entered this thing, but how this is taking for this plant, whatever things have been maintained, it is directly taking. If it is multiple purchase or organizations are there, so you can be able to select this, or you can be able to change this purchasing organization or purchasing group. If you want to change, you can change it. Okay, so now, this is one method of creating a purchase order. Okay, so with respect to purchase requisition, let's say you have created a purchase requisition, directly you can enter it. Let's say now I want to create it for the line item 20. Okay, so by default it is taking whatever the info record is there. If any kind of contract is there, or if any kind of let's say RFQ is there, so it will by default it will take. Okay, so now let's say we will be going for 10025 and 20 line item. Enter again. So now you can see this is taking. Okay, so now it is saying lower price obtained for the quantity greater than 100 kgs. Okay, so based on the scales, I believe we have maintained some of the scales. So based on that, it will be taking the price. So for 100, more than 100 rupees, I believe we have taken it as a let's say 9 rupees or something we have maintained. Okay, so that it is taking by default. Okay, so now you can. Okay, so now we'll go to the each and every tab, and we will be looking into the what are the informations are available and which information are required for us. Okay, now if you go to delivery invoice, here you can see the payment terms, and whatever let's say payment let's say reminders will be there. So it will be copied from the supplier master. So inside the supplier master, whenever we are creating it from the finance side, for the finance side, so there we'll be having a payment terms, we'll be having some payment let's say deadlines. So that is getting copied to here. Okay, currency is basically your vendor currency. Okay, now next one is your condition tab. So in the condition tab, it is taking the conditions. Okay, so this is the header conditions. Okay, and there is also one more condition type in the item section also. Okay, so in the purchase order, basically for us the important section will be the item section. Okay, not the header section. This is mostly, this will be for the, let's say, there will be some information will be there in the header section, but mostly for us the important section will be for the item wise. Okay, item wise conditions and item wise details will be more important than the header sections. Okay, now next one is text. As we have discussed about the header text, now you can see as per the sequence it is coming: header text, header net, pricing type, deadline, terms of delivery. So these are coming like we have seen in the, so here you can see these are the text. If you have maintained some of the text, that text should be copying to here. Okay, so you can click on this text, and it, anything is there, it will be showing over here. Or if you want to maintain some of the text, you can maintain it over here. Next one is address. So this is basically your vendor address. Okay, what is your vendor address is there. For this vendor, what will be the address? This will be the address. Okay, if you just double click on here, you can see address is this one, 10092 India, region is 06. Okay, so this is the vendor address. Now for the communication, this is the salesperson, telephone number, language, reference. So this is what we are maintaining in the vendor master or supplier master or business partner. Whatever things you can say, you can mention. Okay. So basically communication will be copied from the vendor master or supplier master. Next one is partner tab. In the partner tab, we have seen the partner function. So if you are having some partner functions and you are enabling some of the partner functions, so that will be getting copied to here, whatever partners are there. Okay. Now next one is additional data. So here, if any kind of collective number is there, it will be copied to here. Next one is organizational data. We have already discussed purchase organization, purchase group, and company code. So company code will be triggered based on the plant you are taking. Okay, and purchase group and purchase organization. Purchase group is basically from your let's say from a purchase requisition, it will be copied. Purchasing organization, basically it will be triggered based on your plant. But if you want to change, or let's say there are multiple purchasing organizations are there, you can change it. Okay. Now next one is status. So in the status, what is the status of this purchase order? It will show you. Okay. Now here, this is the order quantity 20. Okay. Delivered quantity 0, still to be delivered 20. If anything invoiced, then it will be showing that. If anything having have any down payments, so that will be also showing over here. Okay. So once you are proceeding for the next documents of this purchase order, it will be updating in the status tab. Okay. So payment processing, not required for us. Basically these are the tabs on in the header section. Able to understand, able to get what are the important things are there in the header section. So mostly if we say about the header section, for the address it will be the vendor address, for the partners it will be the partner functions, organizational data. These three are the most important data will be there. Okay, able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now in the conditions, there will be, okay, okay, condition will look into some other time. Okay, no problem. Okay, now let's see the item details. Okay, now if you go to click on this item details, now you can see there are some of the item tabs are there. Okay, if we go to first tab, if we go to first tab, here you can see the material group, supplier, material number, if any batch is there. So this is basically getting copied from the purchase requisition or from the material master. Okay, whatever things you have maintained in the material master or in the purchase requisition level, it will be getting copied. Okay, so next here, this is important thing is EAN UPC. Let's say if they're using a EAN UPC or they're using a supplier batch, if there is a supplier batch is there, so you can maintain that supplier batch over here. Okay, and here you can see there is a info update button is there. So if you are having this info update button, so by default, if you are not having any info record, then it will be creating a info record. And if you are having an info record and you are taking a price more than the info record or less than the info record, so the price will be automatically updated in the info record. So here you can see the info record is showing over here. Info record is showing over here. So if you check the info update, so by default it will be taking in the info record price. Okay, able to understand? Able to understand it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now next one is quantities tab. So in the quantities, basically it will be showing you how many quantities are there. how many like stock keeping unit and all of the things will be showing in the quantities tab. Next one is delivery schedule. So when your item is going to be delivered, so here this is the delivery date, this is the statistical delivery date, what is the scheduled quantity, so this is copying to here. If you want to change a delivery date also, you can change it from here. Okay, now next one is delivery. In the delivery, here you can see this tolerance what we have maintained in the, this tolerance is basically for your GR tolerance. Okay, so based on the GR, whatever tolerances you have given in the supplier master or vendor master, it is getting copied to here. Shipping instruction also we have maintained there, so that is getting copied. Reminders also it is getting copied. Okay, stock type, here you can see, if you want to use it as a unrestricted stock, mean directly you receive the goods and you start using it. Okay, or there are two other types of stocks are also there, blocked stock and quality inspection. Let's say whenever you receive a material, directly you want to do the quality inspection, so you can select this quality inspection itself. Okay, so that whenever material is received without a quality inspection, you will not be able to use that material. Next one is block material. Let's say you don't want to use that material immediately, you can put it under a block, then once you are moving it to the quality inspection, then you can do the quality inspection, then you can move it to the unrestricted stock. So that is a part of your inventory section. While we are going to the inventory section, we'll be looking into how you can change the stock type or how you can move from one stock type to another stock type. Okay, so this is basically a stock type, so how you want to use it. Let's say remaining shelf life and the shelf life data, basically this will be copied from the material master, whatever things are there, it will be copied from there. Here you can see goods receipt is selected and it is non-changeable or non-editable, so goods receipt you have to do for this material. Next one is, here you can see delivery completion indicator, there is a delivery completion indicator is there. So what is this delivery completion indicator? So let's say after you are creating this purchase order, let's say your user is saying no, I don't require this product anymore. Let's say 5 quantities has been delivered, after that he says no, I don't want a delivery now, or I don't want any further delivery, so please mark this purchase order as closed, that I don't need to have this product anymore. So in that case, what you can do, you can select this delivery completion indicator, and one more indicator is there, so you have to select this as a let's say primary thing, so that system will know that there is no further delivery is required. Okay, so this is the delivery completion indicator. Basically when we need to close the PO, so we have to select this delivery completion indicator. Okay, able to understand? So this is basically the delivery completion indicator. So there will be some issues will be there, purchase order closure issue, so we will be discussing it sometime. So at that point of time, you have to select it manually. If it is completed automatically, it will be not getting checked. Okay, this is a standard thing. If anyone asks you, delivery completion indicator will be checked automatically if my purchase order is completed, no, it will not be selected. Okay, if you are going for a manual option, only manual option of closing this purchase order, you have to select it. Okay, so if it is automatically completed, means 10 quantity has been delivered, this will not be selected. Okay, so if you want to mark it as closed, you have to select it. Okay, so now next one is your invoice tab. Okay, in the invoice tab, here you can see there is an invoice receipt is there, but this is editable, you can check or uncheck. Okay, so invoice you can do, or you can just, if you uncheck this one, so there will be no invoice receipt and the material will be marked as free. Okay, if you are not doing an invoice. Now next one is, here you can see final invoice. So this is the second indicator that you have to select if you are going to close a purchase order. Now if you select this final invoice, then system thinks that whatever invoice have been done, that is the final invoice, so no invoice will be done further. Okay, so these are the two indicator, GR completion indicator and final invoice indicator. These two things you have to select if you are going to close any purchase order. Okay, manually if you want to close any purchase order. Okay, that is the thing. Next thing is GR based invoice verification. So if you are having a GR based invoice verification, then system will check whenever you are doing a invoice. Let's say here 10 quantities have been ordered, and while delivering it has been delivered 9 quantities or 8 quantities. If you are selecting this GR based invoice verification, whenever in the invoice, let's say you are putting the purchase order number and you are putting the quantity over there is 10, so it will be comparing the invoice quantity with the GR quantity. And let's say if 9 quantities have been received or 8 quantities have been received, automatically it will change to the 9 quantity. Like this item has been received, so for this item only you will be able to do the invoice receipt. Okay, able to understand? So this is the DP category or down payment category. Normally this is you can select any kind of down payment is there. If it is there, you can maintain. So here also there is one more indicator was there in the ECC version, or I believe someone has removed this one. There is a ERS checkbox is there. Okay, ERS checkbox is there. So if there is any kind of ERS checkbox is there, if you are selecting that one, then tax code becomes mandatory. Okay, you have to enter the tax code. You have to enter the tax code. If there is ERS indicator is not there, so if you are not entering the taxes also, for your practice only, if you are not entering the taxes also, that is fine. But for the real time scenario, definitely you have to enter a tax code. Okay, so this is the invoice tab. Now next one is your condition tab.